Hello. Welcome to this video on my thoughts, my opinions on the live-action Fullmetal Alchemist movie. Now, if you're wondering where to watch it and see it if you haven't heard, because apparently, unlike the last movie they didn't really much announce about this movie that they were doing. It is a Netflix original movie. Yes, that's right, the people who brought us the lovely Death Note live-action movie. If you can't tell, that's sarcasm. Has brought us this somewhat of a train wreck of a movie. So yeah, you can always hear my thoughts on this. So let's jump right into it. First thing I want to talk about is a small little enemy thing, because I'm a little confused about it. But hang on, actually let's do a little evidence. Hang on, I want to do a little evidence searching, because the thing is, under description of audio, they have French, German, Japanese, which is the original language, Spanish, and English audio description. Now, what you don't know about that is, actually here, Fullmetal Alchemist, a Netflix movie. Let me turn my TV over here for you a bit more. Yeah, see that top right? It says a Netflix movie, Fullmetal Alchemist, yes. Here in the subtitles they have all this stuff, simplified Chinese and traditional Chinese as well. Oh, I don't know what that's about. But see, they have this thing called English audio description now I like and hate this thing. I'll get on these aspects real quick here. The reason I like it is because this isn't just for this movie. This is for probably all of Netflix stuff. Now, what it means is there's a person pretty much narrating what's going on, what's being said if it's not in the original. If it's not in English, he's going to describe what's being said in English. But he describes what's going on, like if a character's being shot at or something, if there's a chase scene. Hey, listen. Let's have that on. Yeah, you hear that? Hang on.
Netflix. A Netflix original film.
It's just a straight up narrator. That's what it is. Pretty much for the. It's pretty much for, I guess, the visually impaired who like to actually kind of watch a movie, which is cool. That's why I like it. That's why I love it. Okay, it's something for the. God damn it! Sorry. Apparently, my settings on my camera still has autofocus. I gotta change that up from time to time. That's what I love about this new fucking program of mine here. I've upgraded to the most current version of my Windows of my settings here. Damn it, I gotta stop this up. And we're back. Sorry about that. Yeah, apparently I can't change the settings while the whole thing's recording. But yeah, because the thing is I like about this program. I'm sorry, I'll get back to this in a second. Is that and before I had what I use is Power Director. I had Power Director 12, and I upgraded here to Power Director 16. You can tell how far I've been off. But yes. The thing is, with Windows 10, I believe this is what Windows I have, I can't remember, whatever, I'm just using whatever, the program for the camera is non-compatible, so I can't use the program to turn off autofocus. But with this program, this Power Director, the 16, I can use that to turn off autofocus, which I like. That way you won't keep seeing me be zoomed in and out, everything, constantly changing focus. It is always what I wanted. I just dropped my controller. Hey, a professional right here. What do you know? Yes, let's go up here. See, because it also, like I said, it has French, German, Japanese, which is the original language for this movie, and Spanish. So I wonder if it's just like it's in all these languages, but it doesn't have English audio, just English audio description, which I hate. But it's this. Let's see if it's German description or whatnot.
Mutter! Sieh dir das an! Meins ist top.
No, it's speaking in German, so yeah, that's one of the things I'm kind of hating here. It's sorry, turn the TV back off. No. But yeah, I like that it has English audio description for like everything. It looks like on Netflix. I was watching another show here before I watched this movie. That it had a English audio description, so that's cool for good on them. But I also hate that how they have all these other languages, but not English. They don't have it dubbed pretty much for English, but they have it dubbed for everything else. Now, people might not like that, but hey, there's the original Japanese. You can watch it with text, which I did, just to watch this movie and get my opinion about it, because it's, Netflix and a fucked up Death Note. So I want to see how they fucked this up. And well, they did. Pretty much. Because they had to do all the tropes of anime movies, which make them suck. First off, in the beginning, as you saw there, they have the boys. They have Ed and Al. Now, at some point, they do the host, as you're seeing, the story of them losing their mother. And them going about trying to bring her back. But in the beginning, before they show the title of the movie, Fullmetal Alchemist, they show them at a very younger age. And I thought that was weird. Like, that seems too young for them to do at this point in time in which they would be, trying to bring their mother back. It was much later in their lives, but pretty much like a year or two before Ed went into the military, become a lap of the dog, or whatever it's pronounced, But then later on, during like kind of a nightmare with Ed, where he shows has his body back, it shows him actually doing it at the right age. So it was kind of confusing. Not just that and the aspects, but also during the whole process in the beginning, it shows Al kind of flying off on a piece of the floor, kind of like almost a Wizard of Oz kind of thing. Is feel like how the tornadoes happen, like there's just like this huge cyclone happening in the room, and he just flies off. Like, it gave me, like I said, it was a kind of a Wizard of Oz feel, which wasn't right, because that's not the way in which that whole scenario worked in the anime, either anime or the manga. But yeah, so that was weird. And later on, when they did have that nightmare scene, it was kind of like more kind of understandable of what happened and stuff, but still, like I said, it was weird. And the CGI, you will notice the CGI, because there are parts which are kind of understandable, noticeable, but yeah, there's like, the CGI, when it works, but when it doesn't, it doesn't. You can just tell how bad it is. But also, the way they did the story, they kind of did it somewhat similar aspects. They kept some parts similar to what the anime and the manga has, but also did some things different, which again felt wrong. Kind of like how the story, when they try to go to this town where they have this, can't remember the names, but they have this kind of, I wouldn't say leader. What was he? He was kind of like a preacher kind of character, and it seemed like he had a philosopher's stone to the Elric brothers. But in the story here, that's kind of where they start off with Elric at the age in which he's, a lap of the dog and stuff. I keep saying the lap of the dog. That's weird, but whatever. But it's pretty much he's like, he's of the age in which he has, the metal arm, the metal leg, and he's working for the military, and he's, hunting down stories about the Philosopher's Stone and stuff. But it's just like that whole story is like it went just by like that pretty much, and it was just weird how they had it all set up and everything. Like, it's like you were supposed to understand what's happening. Like, they made this movie too much for the anime people. I feel like they made too much for that, and the stuff that they changed up, they try to kind of make it for what the I can't remember where they like pause there. Sorry. But they did change up the story, I guess, for the people who aren't anime fans. But that's the problem with these fucking anime movies that are made in live action movies. It's just like you're kind of fucking up. The only one I think was actually a good anime movie, which kind of had a trilogy, is like was really good, was Rurouni Kenshin. Because with that, for one, I think the lead actor that they got for the role was just perfect. Heck, I liked a couple of people there. Like, in the aspects of Fullmetal Alchemist here, I think they nailed some of the actors for the at least the homunculi, or at least the three that you see. The only ones that they have in the movie are, of course, the three main ones, which are lust, envy, and gluttony. Now, they do have the main trope of a bad live action anime movie, and that is they try to tell too much too quickly. In here, they tell the aspects, like I said, the story of the whole first fake Philosopher's Stone that the Elric brothers come across. They tell the story of Tucker, about him and what he does with his little girl and dog, that story. They got the tale of the whole, like I said, the homunculi. They got lust, envy, and gluttony in there, and they tell the story of like showing how they pretty much what they are. They show at one point, spoilers, that if you haven't seen any of the anime, but they show that, you know, they are made of philosopher's stones and whatnot. And they do the whole, you know, the Hughes story and what happens with Hughes. They kind of give a backstory to the whole, what was that town? The, that war town. I talked about it. I have a bad memory for some things. It was the Shafalin, not the Shafalin, but you know what I'm trying to say here, hopefully. I have a bad memory, I'm sorry. But the, Ishfallen, I think that's right. Ishfallen? Ishfal? Yeah, the Ishfallen War. We'll talk about that. And then they had added their kind of their own story, like at the end, that is just so stupid. They change up so much too. They change up so much. That's just so stupid. Like I said, they did the tropes which show how not to fucking do a live action anime. Tell too much story too quickly in such a confined space, and change some stuff up here and there that just really fucks up with the original story. It's so stupid. My advice is for any anime fans out there, do yourself a favor, avoid this movie. Just avoid it at all costs. Like I said, the only redeeming aspects of this is a bit of the CGI, the acting. I kind of like the acting, but it's hard to tell about the aspects of the acting because, again, it's in a language I don't speak, so it's kind of really hard to get the feel of the acting, you know, when you're just being spoken in a foreign language for the most part. I prefer dub. Yeah, there's people who love sub, there's people who love dub. I'm a dub person. Now, for anybody who's there who doesn't understand what this means, sub means, and you like to have it in the original language, being pretty much not English, and reading the subtitles. But I hate that. I hate to have my attention taken away from what's happening in the background with the story, the people, the aesthetics, the visuals of it all, to being on just the flat part of the screen here of reading text. And some of it's not just, it's some of that and some of that whole, you know, it's just like sometimes those texts just go by so fast you can't read it all. It's just, for the most part, I hate being taken away from the aspects of the story, of the people, of the emotions, of just what's happening. The action, you know? Not people always assume to those who are people who like dub. Again, sorry, what dub is pretty much, instead of having it in the original audio, it's dubbed from actors with English, so you hear it in English. And it kind of doesn't work with some of the lip movement. Most times it does, sometimes it doesn't though. But it's for the most part, people who love sub, who hate dubs, think it's just because they can't read fast enough. Some of the aspects, for the most part, it's just, I hate being taken away from just what's happening there. You know, to have my attention taken away from the people, from just the overall look, the aesthetic of the surroundings and stuff, you know, to take it all in. My attention is being taken away from that to read. That's what books are for. Comic books, manga. That's what that shit is for. I shouldn't have my attention taken away from a story that's continuously moving at a pace in which I somewhat have control of, but with a book you have more control. Whereas here it's like everything's happening, going. It's just like life, you know. You don't have time to stop and go back. Here you kind of do, but it's just like it's taken away from the aspects of it, the aesthetic. I feel. I just had to get out there. Sorry. When it comes to that, because I hate how there's like fucking anime on Netflix that, you know, there's English audio for, but they don't have it for those animes that I want to watch. It's like they have Sword Art Online here, which some people hate. I liked, but it has English audio. It has English dub. But they also have Sword Art Online 2, which is the sequel to it, kind of like continuing the story. But they don't have English audio for that. Yet there is English audio for it. I know there is. I've seen it. I've watched it. What the fuck? But yes. The aspects of what I'll say, sorry, you know, we're soaring off on our rant there, but it's just, whatever. The good aspects of the movie. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful, the looks of it. I like some of the actors they got for it. Not just lust, gluttony, and envy. I like the people because they look kind of, the way they have the costumes and just the hair and everything. It looks just perfect on the aspects of the character. Hughes, I love the actor they got for Hughes. I liked him. Who else? I mean, actor they got for Ed was not too bad. Renry was okay. But again, it's like it's hard to do, because it's like they made it in like with all these Japanese characters. I mean, actors. The thing is, Fullmetal Alchemist didn't have any actually Japanese-looking characters, you know. So that was kind of also the strange part why they went with Japanese actors and just like a Japanese aesthetic kind of thing, you know. Because it was an anime, but it wasn't originally like German or something else. Because it might have been Japanese. I don't know. But it's just, if you look at the like either anime, the brother of Fullmetal Alchemist or Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, or any of the movies, they don't really look Japanese, do they? Hell, that would have been a better movie that was Americanized over Death Note. Death Note should have been Japanese. This should have been American. Seriously, Netflix, you've done fucked up. You fucked up on those two movies. Because it would have been understandable if those were Americans and not Death Note. Where Death Note would have been understandable if those were Japanese people and shit, you know? They flip-flopped those two movies and fucked it all up, I feel. Period. Just fucked it all up. But like I said, the biggest issue of it all is they tried to go with that whole aesthetic of, you know, a live-action anime movie where they put too much story in too much of a confined space of time and change some stuff up and add new things and stuff. It was like I said, in the end, high advice to any anime fans out there who love the either or both. I like both the Fullmetal Alchemist animes or even just the manga. Avoid this movie. Do yourself a favor. Avoid this movie.